All right, awesome. So welcome everyone. So we've just gone through introductions, and the agenda for today is going to be to get everybody acclimated and introduced into the project, because some people are newer, some people have been around for a while. But I want to make sure that everybody is introduced to the problem set that we're trying to solve, and also is able to spin up the app or has the appropriate instructions and resources to do so. So some of this is going to be like a little bit of workshopping. One of the things that we're working on right now is to ensure that the documentation that we have currently is appropriately written for a new contributor. So if you're a new contributor and you're coming on, you should be able to easily read the README and the contributor docs, and be able to set up and spin up the app. So if that's not happening, then we kind of have to figure out why that's not happening and make corrections to the doc to do that. So having said all of that, actually, let me start sharing my screen. I think the first thing that would be helpful to do is just to take a look at the actual app itself and to take a look at what we're trying to solve. So I'll do a little bit of a demo for you in terms of what is not working well right now, and what we're going to be focusing on for the next month in terms of trying to make better. Okay, I'm going to share my entire desktop because I think that that's probably the easiest way to go. And let me know if you all can see it. Fantastic. So that's not the appropriate thing. So this is the data events board. This is the app in production. And you can see that I've just clicked on the production link. You can find it by navigating to either of the repos, and there should be a link right here in order for you to access the application itself. Essentially, we are looking at fixing two things right now. The first thing that we are concentrating on is the search functionality within the search bar. So the issue with it at the moment is, let's say that I am searching for an event. Actually, you know what? Let's say that I am searching for, specifically, I know that this is wrong. I'm searching for all online events, right? So I apply that filter right now, and I'm going to see that there are no online events. And I know for a matter of fact that this is false, that there are actually online events. But the problem is with how the data model is structured, right? So there are several filters right now. I think that right now region is one way that you can filter for an online event, and then event type is another way that you can filter for online events. So for example, if I select webinar, it's also an online event and it's also virtual. The problem is some of these are optional and some are not. So we have to figure out as engineers, how can we change the data model so it optimizes the search and returns the values it's supposed to. Any questions? I heard a ping, so I feel like somebody's messaging, or it could be something else. Raj and Sangam, you've got some background with the app. Have either of you dealt with this issue specifically, or can you speak to it at all?
So I haven't gone through the code base very much. I was like mentoring Sangam, so can't comment a lot.
Okay, so that's not something you've encountered. Sangam, is this something that you knew was a known issue?
No, actually, I'm not aware of this issue for the search, but I was aware of some other issues, but not.
Okay, but you are somewhat familiar with like sort of the API in the back end of the app itself. itself, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's one of the things that we're going to be looking at, is just sort of how we've structured the data model and how we're pulling information and how like sort of the filters are arranged, because we want to ensure that we're getting accurate results here. And at the moment, it's not returning accurate results. The other thing that we want to work on is this weekly digest right here. And this weekly digest user flow is not working the way that it should. So for example, and this is not something that I can probably demonstrate for you, but one of the known issues that we have is when somebody logs in as a user, so authenticates and subscribes to the weekly digest, that is visible in the admin panel, but unsubscribing and resubscribing doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Also, we are unable to, in the admin panel, send out, actually prompt the emails to be sent out. So that is something else that we're going to work on in terms of cleaning up the actual weekly digest. And then the last thing is the admin panel itself, which, again, let me see if I can spin that up. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a second, but the admin panel itself is the last thing that we want to work on, because at present, the admin panel does not register a new event. So for example, when Reshma goes into the admin panel as the administrator, and if somebody submitted a new event or asked to be featured, that event isn't flagged in the admin panel, so she has no way of knowing what to approve and what not to approve. So that's something that we need to take a look at as well. Any questions so far about what we're trying to tackle?
Oh, Naj, just to clarify, I actually can see if there's a new event. It's typically at the top with like a red or a green check mark. I think what I was looking for is some kind of like an email, something like that.
Okay, so it's not actually within the admin panel itself that we're changing.
Right.
Okay, all right, so scratch that. We're not actually changing the admin panel itself. We are building sort of a feature that allows administrators to be flagged when there's a new event or action by a user. Does that describe it accurately?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Reshma, are you able to show us what that looks like?
Let me just see what yeah, I have 10 minutes quick until I have to get my laundry.
Okay.
But yes, let me do that. Let me log in first. Hang on, let me get into the okay. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Desktop, share, allow Zoom, open system preferences, security and privacy. Okay.
So I think I just changed it so to give the ability to everybody to share a screen. So you should be able to do it now.
Okay. Okay, I don't know if this is because it's a new computer. Let me see if it'll work, because I think I haven't. All right.
Yeah, you just have to give it permissions, and it's probably going to kick you out.
Yeah, and I think I have to log in again. I guess you're the host, right? So I should be able to log. Let me just make sure you are the host, so I just don't want to kick everybody else out of the meeting, you know?
Yeah. No, you won't. You'll just be logged out.
Okay, I'm also just going to make you a host just in case. And then I will join. Okay, so I'm going to exit Zoom and join in. Do that. Okay. Okay, I am back. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. There we go. Okay, I'm in the admin panel right now. Everybody can see it?
Yep, we can see it.
Yeah.
So I go into this section here that says events. And when I come in here, typically at the top, what will happen is, I think one of these like green things will be there. In fact, should I just go in and enter in like a test event? Would that help?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let me go over to this. Okay, let me go over here and I'll go into events. Okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way. Okay, events, post event. Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna say test, start July 1st, and that same day. I'm going to just say Pi Data NYC Meetup. Okay. Come on, there we go. Okay, I'll just use the Meetup link to have something. I'm going to make it in person and virtual. This is all the required stuff, and the rest of the stuff I'm just going to leave alone. And I'm going to say I want my event to be featured, and then I'm going to do review. And then I'm going to submit. Okay, thank you for submitting your event. Go back to home. Okay, so it's for July 1st. I'm going to refresh this. So notice this is what it comes up. It says somebody has requested it to be featured, and it hasn't been published yet. So that's why there's a red X there. So the thing is, I never know if there's an event submitted unless I actually log into this dashboard. So it would be nice to have an email that said somebody submitted an event. So I'm going to go to the review link. I review it. Okay, I'm going to do that. And then I go into the event, I think. Yep. And then I hit published, and I'm going to take, okay, I think I need to, okay, this is an interesting situation. They requested it to be featured, but I don't approve the featuring, let's just say. I wonder what will happen if it just says featured. Hang on. I'm going to hit save. Okay, so it looks like it's featured and it's published. If I come back here, it does show up as test. So it's kind of interesting. I guess it just means manually I have to take out the featured option, right?
Yeah, if it's defaulting to featured, you mean?
Yeah. So I'm going to remove the featured thing. I'm going to hit save. All right, so it's not featured, but it's published. I come back here, it shouldn't be under featured anymore, and it's not. Great. And then if I go to July 1st, it's there as test. Okay.
All right, great. Any questions about what we just saw? Any questions about like the problem that we're trying to solve?
Okay, so I want to ask, the problem, is it from the code or from the design? Like, why is it not being featured? Or after it's been removed, why is it still showing up on the website? What's causing the issue?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking on mute. So if I understand your question correctly, Faith, you're asking what's causing the issue and why is it showing up on the site if it's
Removed.
If it's, pardon, what did you say?
Maybe it's untoggled. Maybe it's unticked.
If it's, yeah, so the issue right now is that when somebody submits a new event, it will show up in the admin panel as you see here. So you see that first row that says test?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that shows up the way that it's supposed to. And usually what the design tells us is that when a user submits a new event, the administrator goes into the administrator panel and then publishes that event. So essentially you can't go into a database or into the data event board and publish your own feature without somebody allowing you to publish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That gives us as administrators of the data event board the ability to approve or not approve submissions that come in.
Okay.
So So that part is working the way that it's supposed to. I think the issue right now is that when a new event is triggered, there's no notification process for the administrator. So the administrator doesn't get any, for example, Rashima is saying she's not getting an email or any sort of notification to tell her, hey, you need to log into the board and approve or not approve these new submissions.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. I think, thanks for that, Rashima. That's helpful. So I think what we want to do next is to ensure that everybody can spin up the app. So I think among us, I think it's Faith and Emma right now who are newer and probably haven't had a chance to spin up the app, because I think Sangam you have and Raj you have, right?
No, I'm still facing issues. I was able to do it earlier, but
okay.
I can share my screen and show it to you. Give me a second.
Are you going to share your screen, Sangam? Or
Oh, give me a second. Frozen myself.
But while he's doing that, what I'll say is, has everybody been able to review the contributing docs or knows where they are? I'm going to drop a link in the chat right now so that we can all reference the same thing. But essentially, the contributor's guide should have all of the information that you need in order to spin up the application itself. Feel free to raise your hand if you have not been able to find the contributor docs or had a chance to review it. And then while Sangam is spinning up, what I will say is I'll point out a few things to note for the actual contributor guides itself. Actually. There are a couple of ways you can get this app up and running. So you can either utilize Docker and spin up both the front end and the back end, or you have the ability to mock out a back end and just spin up the front end if you need. I would suggest, if you can, to always try to run both. That way, properly. So, you know, do the whole thing, download Docker, get that spun up, and then spin up both the front end and the back end so that you have both running and you're able to run the entire app at the same time. Has anyone been able to spin up at least the front end of the application between Emma and Faith? Have you guys gotten to that step yet? Okay, Emma has not. Faith, how about you? Have you been able to install Docker?
No, not yet, not yet. But I'll do that tonight.
Okay, no worries.
Oh, I'm installing the requirements.
Sangam, should we troubleshoot later, or do you think that you're close to getting your screen up? Oh, there we go.
I think it's working. Yeah, I just started the server and database. You want me to run these as well?
Yeah, are you able to? So it looks like you have the web up and the database up. You've got both pieces up, right? It looks like you. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So you're good then, right? You're not blocked on that.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Awesome.
Good. But the official, I tried installing. I don't know. Maybe it's some issue with my instance. Installing Docker from the official guide, it didn't work. So it's something else.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know that.
I don't know. Maybe it's good to have a Docker and Docker Compose version in the contributing guide as well.
Yeah, that is sort of the default method that we ask people to do. I think what we can focus on now for like the last 20 minutes of the meeting is to try to get either Emma or Faith up and running, and maybe we can just sort of do a group exercise. So if either one of you would be willing to share your screen, and maybe we can just go through and see if we can get you all set up and running. Any volunteers?
I can share my screen if that's okay.
Awesome, let's do it.
Okay, so first I need to, let me pull out my terminal. So this is the API repo. Create a branch for the API. And next, I'm thinking going through the getting started, which is I need to check the version of the node, I think. Install the correct version node.
Exactly. So that's like going to be the first step, is to check the version of the node.
Okay, then I'm gonna share my whole screen. Whole desktop. Okay. This. Okay, so I think when I need to use the newest version. of
Yeah,
it?
so do you have Node Version Manager?
I do, I think. I have, can you see? It's version 19.
Okay, all right, great. So now let's
Okay.
install the correct version. So it says, I think you have to do nvm use first.
Mm-hmm. Do I need to go to the upper level or I'm good with this repo?
I think that you're good with this repo. Let's try it
Okay.
this way. If you're within the, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna install this.
Yep.
Okay, now it's using this version. CD to this. I think I'm already at this.
You're
Yeah,
right. You're already in it.
So just install.
We're installing dependencies now.
Okay. Do I need to just continue or do I need to audit?
I think we continue. I don't know
Okay.
that audit fix is going to, it may mess us up. So I don't ever run like the audit fix for us. But yeah, let's continue and see if you can actually get that to start. Oh, wait. So hold on. This is the step that I forget. So let's go into the repo itself and create a .env file. There should be a template for your .env file within the cloned repo. So .env example, you see that file? It's right under SRC.
Oh, here, example?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So now what you want to do is you want to create a .env file and you'll just copy the contents into your actual .env env.
And copy this.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So at this point, we don't have the backend spinning, so I'm not sure what it's going to do, but I think that once we get the entire thing running, that's a critical step that we'll need. So let's, I think that it might error out on you right now, but let's see if it'll actually run it. So npm run dev, I believe, or run start dev.
This is my own project. So probably they're using the same port.
Potentially, yeah, it should. Oh
yeah, got it.
There we go.
Here.
Nice. Yep. Okay, yeah, so we have one step complete. Now let's see if we can get the backend running. And by the way, Raj and Sangam, if you have any pointers or if you see something, flag it and let us know. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to spin up the API. So we're going to
go to
over.
the other.
Exactly. You want to go to the other API repo.
Probably need the new terminal because I couldn't find that one. Okay.
And the thing that you want to start with is you want to start up your Docker. So
Docker. Oh, so like here, the I think I have it installed in the. Do I have that? Oh, here. Is this the one?
Yep, that's the one. I'm not entirely sure how to start it from here, but let's see. See if we can. Okay, that makes things easier. So that's loading, and once that loads, we'll be able to give it the correct commands. The thing is, what I'm not seeing in the contributors guide anymore are the instructions to get the backend up and spinning. So Raj and Sangam, do you see where that is outlined? It used to be in the README for the backend repo. I think that might be a rational question, but I'm not actually, it should be somewhere in the contributors guide as well. Oh, here we go. So yeah, getting started with development. So it's kind of in, if you do like a Control F and go API interfaces, it might take you to the correct spot in the contributors guide.
I think it's at the beginning.
At the beginning.
Right.
Yep, see if it's under getting started. So click on getting started. Yep, setting up the dev. Started, scroll down.
No, is this for the web or the backend?
It's for the back end. So I'm looking
in a separate repo, right?
Oh, here, you know what? I'm going to drop the link into the chat. I think that might be easier. It is in a separate repo, but it should be in the contributors guide. So it used to be within the README file in the event board API. Let's take a look at this link. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So, yep. And if you scroll down, Emma. Oh, sorry, go back. Yeah, just scroll down. And then you'll see where it says, okay, so getting started with development, and then scroll. So now build the Docker images, your first step. No, so scroll down, other way. Yep, exactly. So right there. Scroll up a little bit, the other way, scroll up. Docker Compose up, yep, a little bit more. Yeah, so let's start with building the Docker images. So you're ideally within the event board API, you want to drop in Docker Compose build. So let's start building that up.
In the terminal?
In the terminal, correct.
Okay. So the next gonna be copy the Docker Compose app.
Generally speaking, if you've already done this, you will just do Docker Compose up. We can try that right now. If that doesn't work, then you'll want to skip. So if you skip down past Docker Compose up and go to the next set of information, if that doesn't work, which it might not because you're just initializing it, you'll have to do it separately.
So I haven't used Docker. So Docker is like an environment that can put back and front in one place and you can get up the project running. Is that the purpose of Docker?
Yeah, that's what we're utilizing it for. To tell you the truth, I'm not super familiar with Docker as well, but that's the purpose, or that's how we're utilizing it. How would you describe, anyone else, how would you describe Docker?
It's more like a container. I would say container to contain your projects, both front and back end.
Yeah, so Raj just dropped something good. So Docker is like wrapping your code into something that allows you to run anywhere without separate configuration. Okay, and so let's check on it by click on the desktop version of Docker. So let's go back into that window. And so, yep, there you go. Should pull it up.
Oh,
and
this is running.
You can see that the event board API is running, but we want the event board web running as well. So that looks like, and if you click on that arrow that's right next to the event board API, what do you see, Emma? Okay, so we can see that the database is running, but we need the web running as well. So I think that the problem is, as stated in the instructions, that it's timing out. So we might have to do it separately. Okay, so if you look at the next set of instructions, and so past the Docker compose up DB and Docker compose up web. So we'll have to run each of those commands separately. And I think you already have database up and running. See if you can just go Docker compose up web, drop that in there.
Okay, so should I put like Control-C to stop this? And
yeah, I think you have to. Actually, if you do Control-C to stop it, then you will have to do both of them. So yeah.
Is it ready? Ready to accept connections?
Okay. And then you want to run the next command. So Docker compose up web.
Is it done? Quick with the server with Control-C.
It looks like it might be done. So let's check by going back into the Docker app and see if both of those things are flagged green now. So yeah, it looks like the entire thing is flagged green. It looks like you're running both your database and your web. So great, it all looks good. Let's now, you might have to stop and restart your front end to test it out. So let's see if we can do that.
Okay, so go back to VS Code. Front end.
Go back to your front end repo, exactly. And you want to go into your terminal. You want to stop that. So Command C.
Terminal, let me, can I just use this terminal? Oh, it's different. This is API.
Yeah, you'll need to start a new terminal in here.
What's the shortcut to use terminal in the VS Code? I remembered there's a way to.
Yes, let me actually just look that up really quickly.
Probably Command J.
Command G. Not this.
Oh, okay. Works in Windows, I guess. No.
Yeah, it's
here. Got it.
You got it?
Command J. And then npm run dev.
Yeah, let's do that. Except it's supposed to, I guess it wasn't running before, right? Did we quit it before? Okay, so let's go ahead and npm run dev and get it spinning back up. And hopefully this time we'll be able to see actual data.
Okay, probably not npm run dev. The one we were using is it's a long one.
Does it run?
Oh, here.
Start. Done. Right. Okay, so it's actually already running on another port. So we're just gonna go, let's see if we can run it on another port.
Okay, run another port. Then, yes.
I don't know if that will interfere.
Okay, I think
Okay,
I have both.
No, it's not working because if you scroll down, I can see that the data is not populating. So I think what we have to do maybe is, in order to troubleshoot it, I think what we have to do is maybe kill it on the other port. So on localhost 3000 where it's running. And so it's right, I see it right there. It's on your tab, but I think we need to kill the.
Oh, here.
Yeah, we need to actually kill that within the terminal though. Does anyone remember
within the terminal?
Yeah, does anyone remember what the command is? Or can look it up potentially?
Or can I just close this terminal? This is the front end.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna help, but we can try it. It might still be running it. We can try.
Okay. Run again.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Let's make sure that Docker is still up and running. So let's check on Docker and make sure that Docker is okay and hasn't had any complaints. Oh, we're going into Discord. I think if you just select Docker at the bottom, Emma, so when you scroll down to the bottom of your screen and you can see that you can see all your apps pop up.
Oh, here.
Yes, and so we can see that it actually is running. So that's not the problem. Docker is up and running. Raj is making a comment. It takes a certain amount of effort and time to launch the dev environment, which is true. Like that's the sort of the trickiest thing about this project. But let's try to do some troubleshooting right now and figure out what the issue is. So the first indicator that you've launched the app successfully is that it will, oh, you know what? We did not see the data. That's the issue. I think that's the issue. So if we go back to the docs that refer to the API or the backend, I think that we missed a step in that we forgot to seed the data. So if you scroll up, Emma, to where you are, do you see the 4 commands? So number 3, where it says start web server and database, and then you say Docker compose up, and then where it says the command for starting web service migrates the database for your running, executing following commands before starting web server. So these commands will have to run in order to see the data. So let's see if we can run these commands right now. And I think that we're probably going to have to go back and kill that front end again and then restart it.
Okay, so this should be run in the terminal, right?
within the
Terminal.
terminal, right? So again, we're going to go back to VS Code. We're going to go into the backend repos, the API repo, and we're going to run these commands within the terminal.
API repo, this is the web branch, this is the API, and then Command J, run those, paste. Hey, so done, right?
Yes. So let's see now if it makes a difference. So let's go back to our front end. We're going to kill the front end.
I'm
We're
gonna
going
close
to control.
them.
Yep. So back
This
to.
yeah, what is this? Okay, Control C.
And fingers crossed.
It was the same as before. It was showing.
So let's try one more thing. Let's go back to, now that we've seeded the data, let's restart Docker.
Okay.
Asanga and Raj, by the way, if you have any suggestions, let me know for what else we should try.
Yeah, I'm facing some issues. I try to go to the code. Yeah, probably
So
because
let's
again.
stop it. We can stop it. So you can do it in here actually, Emma. Yep. So you can go container actions, or I think you can use the stop button.
Oh, here, this is stop.
Yeah.
Do I need to stop this whole thing, right? The event for API?
Let's try it.
Okay, I'll exit it. Then I start.
Yeah. So now let's start. And then this time, because you've already, I was going to go back into the terminal, but yeah, let's see if we can start it this way.
Those two are they the same? Event for API web, and this is also.
That's what I've wondered as well. And I think that second API web came up after we ran the commands to see the data. And I'm wondering why it's necessary. So
should I just delete?
Maybe.
Because we only need the database and web.
Only need the database and web.
Those two are under the same name.
Yeah. Okay, let's try that just to see if we can rule that out as an issue. So let's see if that will make a difference.
Delete forever. And now they're both running. Then go back to this. Probably should restart again.
Yeah, let's try restarting. Okay, no success. We are missing a step somewhere. So let's go back, and I know that we're over time. So by the way, if anybody needs to drop, feel free to drop if you need to. But I'd like to see if we can troubleshoot for maybe 15 or so minutes if you all have time, and see if we can get this up and running. Okay, so
your database is running, your Docker is running, your front end is running.
I think the front end is running.
Yeah, and you are getting database data from the API as well.
I think this is database, Postgres running.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
but you'll notice, Raj, that she actually doesn't have any of the data. She's not actually pulling any of the data if you see it. It's not visible.
So,
do you know what I mean? No, what I'm saying is that when she's running the front end, so if you go back, Emma, to the actual data event board, yeah, your local version of it, you can see like there, so where it says example event 0, 1, 2, that should actually be populated with data. And that was a step where we seeded the data, but it's not connecting for some reason. So we've missed a step somewhere.
If you like try going on this, then check what's there.
Mm-hmm. Check where?
I've sent a link like localhost 8000/API/v1/events.
Oh.
You are having data.
I click on the link.
Yeah, so what you're saying, Raj, is she is actually extracting data from the API. So she's receiving data from the API, but there's a disconnect between that's not being.
Can you like just stop the web version and start it again?
Yeah, we've tried that a couple of times. We can try it again. You mean within Docker or within the actual terminal repo?
Anywhere, it doesn't matter. Like on the terminal itself.
So web branch the front end.
Start
again.
The front end, launch it. Yes.
Okay.
This one. This one, Docker Compose up web.
Oh, okay. So Emma, what he's saying is that you would drop that command, the Docker Compose up web, within the API repo, that terminal.
Okay, API repo.
Yeah. But wouldn't she have to stop it first, Raj?
No, not for that.
Okay, so let's try it, Emma. And if not, the next step, I think, would be to go back to the contributor guidelines for the front end and ensure that we have completed all the steps. Because there's something about the front end that's off right now.
So is it just me, or anyone can't see any kind of progress while running Docker Compose up web?
I think in my terminal, it's just saying attaching to event board API. I think it just stops it here.
It should like give a lot of, we can wait like 1 or 2 minutes. Are you running on M2 chip?
On what?
It shouldn't take this long, Raj. It shouldn't take this long. There's something up. I don't think it's got, I don't think it's a hardware issue.
I'm running on my MacBook. If should I just
Yeah,
kill
like
it?
for me, it
Control
just
C.
took like maybe 20 seconds or something.
Yeah, it shouldn't take this long. So it means that there's something up with that. So let's take a look at Docker again, one time, the desktop application one more time, and let's see what that looks like right now after you've run the Docker Compose up. So just if you go down to your, to your doc and then just pull that up, and then we can see, okay, we've got DB and web running, which is what I would expect. So Raj, let me ask you this. So we just fed it the command Docker Compose, like we fed it the command to spin up the web again, right? And within the application, the desktop application for Docker, we can see that it's running. So what are we missing? Because to me, it looks like we have both pieces.
Yeah, we are having our backend running, our database running. We seeded the data. We made the migration. We have our front end as well.
Yeah. So Emma, let's take a really quick look at the docs for the front end and see if there's something else that we were supposed to do in terms of setting up the .env file or some other file that maybe perhaps.
Did you just set up the .env file for the front end?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We set up the .env file. Yeah. So we can take a look, but I think that that's where we need to take a look and ensure that we've done that correctly. So that might be the blocker for us. So let's take a look at A, the docs, and B, let's make sure that we've done everything that we're supposed to for the front end.
Front end, we have the env file here. And the doc, we installed the version of the node. I didn't run this.
Well, that's for tests, so that shouldn't really have any impact on whether or not you're able to spin up the app. Let's scroll up a little bit. What does it say above? Oh.
I have cloned. I checked the version. I did tap this.
Yep, you're using the correct version.
I install it.
You install the dependencies.
I was using this command.
Yes, and you have.
I have this in my env file.
From this. Simply run the start command. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, let's try that because before we were running npm run start dev. So let's try this. So let's kill the front end again and then just write npm start. See if it makes a difference.
Front end, right? This is API.
Yeah.
This is the front end. Here it is, and run this.
Oh no. Let's open up DevTools and see if it's giving us any error messages.
Oh,
bye, Sam.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us. Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
we
got it. Yeah.
Yes.
Just we need npm start. That's the part missing.
Okay, awesome.
Yay.
All right, great. That was a good lesson, though. I'm glad that yay! I know, success. All right, thanks, guys. So I think
that chronologically.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Thanks for
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for all your help and all of your assistance, everybody. And I am going to send out some more instructions over the weekend. I know it's a holiday for some people, so I'm not expecting you to do a ton of work. But now you know what your problem set is, and you know how to spin up the application. And so you can play with the app if you so need. And then the next meeting we will have will actually start to break apart the tasks that we need to tackle and maybe dive into one of the problem sets a little bit deeper. All right. Any questions before we leave? Okay, I appreciate you all. Thanks for spending some time with me. See you next time.
Ciao. See you all next time.